And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at the Rebel Aces pack for X-Wing miniatures. What this does is it brought another A-Wing and another B-Wing with alternate paint schemes. They already released some alternate ships. There's been a couple alternate X-Wings that released with the big ships. There was an alternate, some TIE fighters released. Now we have some Rebel ships. These have different paint schemes. They're kind of like the prototype versions. And some new cards. Well, is that worth getting for just some new colors? Let's look. Let's start by looking at these models. Now, the A-Wing and the B-Wing have already been released, and this is the current A-Wing compared to the A-Wing here. You can see that the current A-Wing has kind of a beat-up weathered look. This has the look of like an A-Wing that would be used to guard a presidential palace. And it's also blue rather than red. The B-Wing is very similar to that. Again, the B-Wing that we have already is all beat up and weathered to some degree, and this one has the look of just a very nice ship, a ship that's doing well. Other than that, they're functionally the same models. So since the models are the same, we're basically looking at the cards to see how different they are. These are the best cards of the set. You can see here basically some of the special abilities here. When attacking, you can remove a stress token to change all your focus results to hits. That's a pretty cool effect. And here, after you perform a focus action, you may perform a free boost or barrel roll action, which kind of lets him take a double action if he has a boost. Or basically lets them take a focus and a boost, which is pretty cool. There's also some other pilots in here, including the Green Squadron, the Dagger Squadron, the Blue Squadron, and then Prototype Pilot. But of what's really interesting in this set are some of the cards in here. Both of these cards can only be put on the B-Wing or the A-Wing. This one here gives the B-Wing an extra upgrade icon where now they can put on some of the droids, the navigation droids. This one here, though, is really interesting. It has a negative squad point cost. So let's say I put this on the Prototype Pilot. The Prototype Pilot would not cost 17. He now would cost 15. So it's an interesting thing to do. You can stick it on an A-Wing. Basically, the A-Wing doesn't have a lot of slots on it normally anyway. And this takes up maybe one of your precious slots, but allows you to bring some cheaper A-Wings into battle. And then there's some other stuff in here, proton rockets, an A-Wing test pilot, and enhanced scope. So there's some other cards, but mostly it's about, I think, more than anything else, just the different paint jobs. As much as I like the colors of these ships, and I like the new cards, and that -2 card is kind of cool, I don't know that I would recommend this to everyone to go out of their way. I mean, yeah, sure, for people who are completionists like myself and want some of every ship, but I don't see people sitting there going, ooh, a blue A-Wing. In fact, when I polled people, most people liked the way that the ships already looked. I personally like the blue A-Wing better, but I did like the old B-Wing, and most people like the weathered look of the ships that were already out there. The new cards are nice, but I guess if you want an A-Wing and a B-Wing and more cards, or maybe you want to, let's say you want to buy a couple A-Wings or B-Wings for your collection, then buy one of the single A-Wing packs, one of the single B-Wing packs, and then buy this, and then you have 2 of each. So that's not a bad idea, but I hope they don't make a big habit about repainting ships and putting a few cards in, because while the Imperial one was really cool because it had the really bright red colors and was the Emperor's Guard, this is less exciting, so I don't want to see repainted E-Wings and repainted versions of every ship. Hopefully this is the end of that, but still, some folks will be interested in it, but I think mostly just those who need everything.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.